get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Hello, Chris. How the devil are you, sir?
I'm very well, Ashley. Great for having me here today.
No, thank you so much for coming on.
What great intro music as well. Really gets into the mood.
It's awesome, isn't it? Did you know it's my song?
I've recognised the voice.
I actually wrote that song, and it's actually called Full Cup, which is why that's why I called my business Full Cup Coaching. So but I just love that song, and every time I play it or sing it, it just makes me feel so happy. And it's like a true story. So one of the lines is I wake up every morning and I bounce around the bed. So my poor wife, she rolls her eyes at me. Sage, what's going on there, Chris?
I think we're sort of hitting all the right notes, aren't we?
Boom. Yeah. Absolutely. So I don't know if you know, but many years ago I used to work for Digita, and there was a few things that Digita did better than Sage, and a few things that Sage did better than Digita. But we did the whole thing. And then we've got, can I swear at you and say we got QuickBooks and Xero coming in?
Can do. We're all open around here.
And doing all kinds of things as well. But it's like, this is my perception, right? It's like Sage had just thought, right, okay, we need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do that. And they're just doing it. And then now you do absolutely everything, but you're not shouting about it too much, which I think you should do, because everyone I speak to is using Sage love it.
Yeah, and I think that's the feedback we're getting is I think Sage as a business, we're quite polite. We know what we're doing it well. We're in the background plugging away, building the products we need to do, buying the best in class products where we need to fill in the gaps, which everyone's seen. But it also goes in terms of what's our sentiment, what's our intent, and what's our passion. And therefore, when you look at what's happening in the market, accountants and bookkeepers are key. 9 out of 10 small businesses are supported by an accountant or bookkeeper today. And when you're looking at the challenges which small businesses have, small businesses are far more successful when they work with an agent or an accountant. And therefore, how can we empower those accountants to actually spend more time with their clients on the value and less time maybe on the bookkeeping, the payroll, the compliance? And therefore, it's our responsibility really to build those tools together, bring together in one house, build what's required, but also, let's say, meet the needs of that little thing called MTD ITSA in 401 working days.
Oh, not that you're counting. Everyone else I know is counting down to Christmas. Or my daughter's counting down to her wedding, but you're counting down to MTD ITSA. Hey, you've got a fan club here. You've got a fan club. Rachel Pearson.
All right.
Yeah, Rachel Pearson saying you're such a helpful and knowledgeable person. That is because you're gamekeeper turned poacher, or the other way around. I'm not sure how the saying goes, but
something like that. Yes.
Yeah. So you're an accountant, and now you're coming to work for the mighty Sage. Is that right?
And also, what's even funnier or unusual, Sage is my second ever employer. So I was an accountant by trade for 20 years. I started in that firm. I did work experience when I was at college, went to uni, did the usual, let's say, CVs. Oh, actually, not even CVs. I just sent a letter to a couple of firms saying, have you got any jobs? And I joined Milstead Langdon, joined as a junior, worked my way up through the ranks. Very interested in technology, using data better, try and meet the needs of clients, because clients don't really interpret numbers. They want pretty pictures and analysis and conversation. I was probably one of the first accountants to get into Power BI. I've always had an interest in graphs and Excel. I built up a service, a sector all around business intelligence. I became partner in that firm. I saw that firm go from 30 people to 230 people. And then Sage tapped me on the shoulder. And that's how I've been at Sage for the last 4 years, doing what I do, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I think that's one of the questions that's going to come up today. So hi Neil. What's he saying here? You interviewed Neil. Did he get the job though, Chris?
I forget what the conversation was. I don't think it was the right thing for him at the time. It's the case we're all looking at different things, and I think Neil obviously he's got his own business, isn't it? And the fact is Neil's got that skill set in terms of data analysis, using products, using technology. And I think when we had that conversation, it was the opportunity to actually go out there and do something different. And therefore, clients or business owners want really good accountants who know their debits, their credits, the tax, but also be able to make some insights out of the information they've got. And that's what Neil does as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is what makes a good accountant, is actually explaining it to layman's terms, so that small business owners like myself actually understand why we're doing all this and what it means and stuff like that. And I guess that's the next step with you, with your acquisitions of is it Futurely, isn't it?
Futurely, yes.
Yeah. So you know, by you know, getting hold of the other bit of the business, you're able to really help our accountants and bookkeepers to help you know, like you say, the backbone of Britain.
Very much so, but also it's giving accountants choice, because as you alluded to, there are different colors of the rainbow out there in terms of accounting products. And as accountants grow, they take on more clients. Business owners are making their own decisions on what software they need to use. And therefore, we'd love accountants to use Sage all day long, but naturally they're going to pick up clients using other products. Therefore, if they're going to use the tools from us, whether that's winning new work with Go Proposal, whether that's data automation with auto entry, whether that's doing year-end compliance. So we have online tools, year-end accounts, final tax, personal tax, corporation tax online, which is free of charge within Sage for accountants, but you can work it along with the other ledgers if you need to. So the whole point is just giving accountants options and choice.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because when I was working at Digita, you went to Digita for this, for tax, you went to Sage for accounts, you went to somebody else for practice management, and then you had your bookkeeping software was on a desktop somewhere, probably Sage Line 50, because you know that's all most people had. And it was all over the place, wasn't it? And then you sort of like, you know, I was speaking to, you know, an accountant. I'm just setting up, so I need this and I need that. And they're going all over the place. So basically all they do is just speak to you now, Chris?
Oh, they can do, but we've got other Chris Downings in Sage, lots of people to help support accountants. But again, it's the fact that you're either looking for best in class, best in breed. You're maybe looking for one service provider, one support contact. But also the capabilities to actually plug in, plug out different solutions as you need to. And I think what we're seeing in terms of the whole accountancy world is the fact that there is continuous evolution and innovation within how people are using products. And it's a case of it's so easy to be using a product and not be looking at the competitors or looking what's around the corner. And I think that also the key thing is we can onboard software so much easier than we used to in the good old days. Because when you had desktop server-based solutions, it was a real big change management process to actually bring in a new service. Now you can basically subscribe to single ledger licenses, try the software out, become an expert in it, and slowly grow your practice around a different solution. So I think it's never been more, I don't know, interesting or more powerful or more energetic or interesting to be an accountant these days.
Yeah, no, and we're seeing that with you've got some lovely people that shout and talk about what you do, the accountants, and it's lovely to see that they're very proud of your brand, they're proud of what you do, they're proud of how you help them and stuff like that, which is absolutely superb. Ash Beatson reckons that whatever you say makes sense. I totally agree with him. Hi Ash, how are you doing? And Neil wasn't offered the job, went for a new business intelligence team, went for a different path, but guess it kept in touch. But this is funny. And his best wife's mate is a client of mine.
Yes.
Small world.
Very small world. Shush, got to keep that one quiet.
Well, he's put it up on social media now, so everybody knows. That's hilarious. So you were tapped on the shoulder 4 years ago. Okay, so you've had 2 jobs. All right. Hazard a guess how many jobs I've had, Chris.
I could look at your LinkedIn account if you want to. But
no, because it's not all there. There's not enough space on LinkedIn for me.
Ashley, that's what you've built up as experience, haven't you?
Thank you. That's what I tell my wife. But that's the thing. So there you are, partner in a very successful practice with, like you say, 230 staff. What did they say that made you think, oh my goodness, that's a great opportunity, I want to go there?
I could see within that firm, I delivered quite a bit. I but then I was allowed to explore what I wanted to do. The firm was amazing in terms of giving me opportunities, whether that's working in different departments, working with different clients, being allowed to build my own department out. So it was a real emotional thing to leave that practice. But then I also saw the opportunity in the big wide world. MTD VAT was literally on the horizon. I could see a change in industry. I've always been a passionate individual working with Sage. I've always had a love in terms of what they do and the people and the support they deliver. And even though we may not make a song and dance in terms of what we do internally, there's some real amazing individuals inside the business. And when I was working with Sage on their advisory board, so therefore Sage has an advisory board of accountants basically providing conscience and the direction of travel, I could always see what Sage were doing in a couple of years' time. And I could see this massive opportunity over the next couple of years. And I thought, well, I've been with Milstead Langton for 20 years. I could be with them for another 25, 30 years. Let's try something different. Let's actually put someone else on my CV. And therefore, it's a case of, if I didn't like it, I can go back to reconciling banks in those days or using bank feeds, whatever I used to do. But it was something I had to try, something to get out my system. And therefore, I took the opportunity and I've been loving it since.
No, we can tell that. We can tell that. You said no one makes a song and dance. I think we've seen you dancing on a few videos, haven't we?
It's just a bit, yes.
Yeah. So it's got to be fair to say that you love your job, don't you?
I certainly do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you need to love your job. You need to enjoy it. That's the key thing.
We spend a lot of time there, don't we? But you'd be surprised how many people don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. So what challenges let's just go back a little bit. I just started talking about Sage. I didn't give you first question is tell me a little bit about yourself. Come on, go on, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an accountant by trade. I'm working for Sage. I'm the conscience of the customer working within Sage, and I get to speak to accountants, business owners, colleagues all day long at partners, and I get the opportunity to think about the future and help support colleagues about the future. But for me personally, I'm a Somerset boy. I'm in the Manchester office today, so I do get to do a bit of traveling. So a father of two. I've knocked my own house down and rebuilt it again. So I've got lots of little war stories which I could talk about, but I can know the time is ticking away.
I could chat to you all day about DIY. I've done exactly the same. But have you ever fallen through the roof?
I nearly fell off the chimney stack.
Oh, that's even higher. Was that a house?
Yes.
Was that a house or a bungalow?
That was a house when I was demolishing it.
Okay, I think next time we're somewhere, we're having a beer, we'll compare war stories. I like the cut of your jib. Yeah, absolutely. So what challenges are you seeing our bookkeepers and accountants having at the moment, Chris?
The challenge hasn't changed. It's time. It's a finite resource. It's dwindling. There's pressures on our times because clients are wanting more. And when you think about the impact of COVID, yes, COVID hit an awful lot of elements of the accountancy practice, but what it did showcase is the benefit and the power of working with your accountants or bookkeeper, because they're able to showcase, support business owners, and business owners have seen the benefits of that and continue to want that support, that insight, that advice. And when we've got that other little challenge of MTD ITSA, where every client needs to be re-engaged, reserviced, repriced, and also be brought into some sort of bookkeeping solution, time continues to be that finite resource. And therefore, it's a case of how do we create that headspace? How do we create that capacity?
And how are you helping our accountants and bookkeepers with that time then?
Every angle we could think of. So if it's winning new work, pricing new work, go proposal. If it's trying to streamline your processes of AML and risk assessment, again, go proposal with Everwatch. If it's thinking about how to get data into your practice, try and remove the drudgery of data processing, Auto Entry ticks that box. If you're thinking about how do you do cloud accounting, bookkeeping, Sage Accounting with its variety of functionalities and tiers in terms of supporting small business owners from large and small. Think about payroll, online payroll solutions or payroll bureau, online compliance. Each one of those elements, if used properly, saves you an awful lot of time. That's just the tools. And I think the other key thing is the thought leadership and the ideas. And because Sage works with tens of thousands of accountants, We're identifying those war stories, new best practices. And I love going out to see accountancy firms and seeing how they're, let's say, changing their ways of working, which means that when I'm up on stage, I can actually bring to life some of these examples. I think it's basically bring to life how accountancy firms are actually changing their approach, supporting their clients, and also think about how they can be more profitable themselves, and also at the same time save time as well.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, and the beauty is it's all in one bucket, if you like. You know, we're not going here, we're not going there. It's all linked together. And someone here, LinkedIn user, I don't know your name, so I can't address you, but
anonymous.
Well, no, if you're actually in LinkedIn, you can actually see who that is.
Right, okay.
There's some sort of setting that allows me to see it. But basically, just shouting out about how brilliant you are, and that's the key thing, isn't it? It's the support.
I hear that day in, day out. Okay, fine. Sometimes our product could be a little bit better, but actually the support shouts that loud and clear, because at the end of the day, whether it's 9 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe 11 o'clock at night, trying to get that payroll through, if you need to speak to a human being to get some support, Sage is there. And that's what people really rely upon sometimes.
Yeah, because some of your competitors don't have humans. They or when I say humans, they have emails and stuff like that, don't they? Or you know, ticketing systems. Others are strapped, so they haven't got so many, so it's a long time. I guess everyone moans about HMRC because their support is just so many people ringing them. And so that is the key thing, is making sure that we can support people if and when something goes wrong or it's not quite as simple as we were hoping it to be.
And obviously, sometimes our support channels are chock-a-block, whether it's time of day or time of the year, and therefore sometimes call times or waiting times could go from, let's say, 30 seconds to 2 minutes and maybe 30 minutes, and that's something we have to apologize for and hopefully try and mitigate. But at the end of the day, it's a case of be patient, and we'll be able to support your calls with our experts.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, isn't it? There are going to be busy times, and I guess we all know when those busy times are going to be. So we're going to turn around and go, "Yep, fair dues. We're going to have to wait a little bit." So, what's your top tip that an accountant or bookkeeper can do right now?
Well, I could talk about an awful lot of subject matter. But I think as an accountancy firm or bookkeeper, if you think to either growing your practice or trying to be more efficient or try and deliver better service, you really need to understand your client base. Yeah, we can name all our clients. We could probably know the names of their children and maybe where they've been on holiday. But when you think about what they do, how they do it, getting that information into a spreadsheet or into your practice management solution is key. And therefore, the best top tip is perform client segmentation, whether you're getting ready for MTD for ITSA or think about how to refine their processes or think about payroll or pricing. By having that information available, you can start to slice and dice that information. Look at opportunities. Think about the refinement of, let's say, using auto entry or Dex. If you've got any clients on doing VAT returns or bookkeeping, you need to get those automation tools in place. And this is the whole point, is thinking about those, let's say, 1 or 2% increases in efficiency. But you cannot apply those efficiencies unless you know what your client base is actually doing today and actually how they're performing and the types of trades they've got.
I love
segmentation.
That. Yeah, no, I that's the first thing I do when I'm working with an accountant or a bookkeeper, is really get them to know their clients, because you don't. You know, I've got this many clients. How, you know, so some people I talk to, they've got 500 clients. How can you know all of them? And how can you really know
them? But
yeah,
you
but
need
not
something to measure them by.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't know them in a deep, meaningful way. Have you got a really great story of how you've helped a bookkeeper or an accountant, Chris, that you're happy to share?
I've got loads of stories, and everything from the extremes of when I was in practice, I actually transformed how an even larger accountancy practice improved their management information. They're waiting 3 to 4 weeks to get management accounts in. I came in play and basically got that refined, so it's literally coming out the system. But then again, it's like I'm having conversations with accountants bookkeepers every day. So whether it's on Friday, I had another person I interviewed when I was back in practice. She reached out and asking for support in terms of, she's got a large group business. She was thinking about how to refine the processes. And I gave her solution after solution after solution. And then again this morning, I spoke to another accountant. She was asking about how she can actually improve the reporting on one of her clients. And again, it's been quite empathetic, understanding the challenges, and also basically giving options and choices. So I've got lots of war stories, lots of solutions, but sometimes I'm just doing it all day and day out, and therefore nothing really sort of pings to mind.
No, that's cool. So if I'm an accountant or a bookkeeper and I'm using Sage and I'm just trying to, I just want to chew the fat with someone that's perhaps done this, and I can pick up the phone and have a chat with Chris?
Yes, you can. I think one of my weaknesses, I'm very generous of my time.
Yeah.
And therefore, so whether it's getting in contact with me or whatever, I'm more than happy a conversation, because I think it improves me, because what part of my role is provide insights and really understanding what's happening out in the sector. And it's so easy just to sit behind your desk, look at social media and think, well, that's the big wide world. It's not. You need to speak to people. You need to understand what's going on in their world, understand their key challenges today. And therefore, by having those conversations, it means that I can convey those conversations in a more structured manner with colleagues. So whether that's actually to improve support, maybe improve a help document, think about what app partners we need to work with, or even just understanding what are the core things within the product people love or hate or wish could be better. That is all around conversation. And this is why I do enjoy, let's say, just picking up the phone, a random telephone call, and just see where it goes.
Fantastic. Love that. I love that. And I guess when you're at these events, you probably don't have 5 minutes to yourself, do you? Because everyone wants to come and say hello.
Very much true. So it's a case of there's always, let's say, food, coffee available, but I always know I'm never going to see any of that. I literally just make myself available and just go through the conversation. But that's what I really enjoy. As accountancy, we're a people industry, aren't we?
Yeah,
we love speaking to our clients.
Yeah.
And I've gone from a situation where business owners were my clients. Now accountants and bookkeepers are my clients effectively. And I loved having that conversation, that engagement.
No, fantastic. If anyone's got any questions for Chris before we finish up, we've gone over 15 minutes. I do apologize. Then please pop a note in there. So I've got one more question for you. Okay, but I'm just going to quickly go to next week, because I just want to let people know who my guest is next week. Hopefully I've set it all up properly. There we go. I've got Des O'Neill coming in from Profit Pro and CPD Store. So he's going to come in and have a chat with me next week. Chris, been absolutely fantastic talking to you. I could talk to you for absolutely hours. You know so much stuff, and you're working for a great company. So thank you for sparing your time today. My very final question, unless anyone else has got any questions they want to ask. When you were at primary school,
right,
what did you want to be when you grew up?
Like most things, you look to your dad, and my dad was a hydrographer. And for anyone who knows what that means, it's basically doing maps of the sea. It's very simple terms. And if I went from the word map, he'd kill me, because it's a chart, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, I've always had this really passion for geography, and this is, I thought, that was the direction of travel. But then I realised I wanted a career. So I started to think about accountancy, but that was basically at secondary school. But at primary school, I wanted to be a hydrographer, using geography, looking at charts on the oceans, etc., etc.
Yeah, there's a great big hydrographic place in Taunton, isn't there?
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, basically in Taunton, local town, that's the hydrographic office, and basically they draw and update charts to the whole world from the UK.
Wow, incredible. Hey, super duper. Chris, thank you so much. If anyone wants to get hold of you, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Just on LinkedIn, you may see some idiot dancing on the screen.
I have seen you on LinkedIn. Absolutely fantastic. Chris, you've been an absolute star. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for all your lovely comments, and see you all next week. You take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.